Good morning, all. I hope everyone is having a blessed start to their Thursday. It's that time of the day when we have our thought together. Thinking about our thought of the day, I was reminded of when I was in middle school. My mother came home with a birthday card for a childhood friend of mine. She laid it down there in front of me with a pen and said, "Sign your John Hancock." Well, me being a middle-aged smart aleck, I literally signed the name John Hancock onto my friend's birthday card. Little did I realize the historical significance of Hancock's signature. For if we were to go back to the founding of our nation, Hancock was the first of our founding fathers to sign his name on what is called the Declaration of Independence. Hancock not only signed his name, he signed it in bold ink and in large letters so that the King of England would not need his glasses to read who signed this Declaration of Independence, specifically from England. The result of Hancock's action was that many of our founding fathers were given the opportunity for amnesty for what would be called a treasonous act against the nation of England. Hancock was not given that opportunity for amnesty. Literally, Hancock was laying his life on the line for what he thought was the opportunity for freedom. Literally, Hancock was courageous. As I thought about Hancock's actions, it reminded me of a story in the Old Testament. There in the opening chapter of the Old Testament book called Joshua, the Lord is having a conversation with his servant Joshua. And the first thing the Lord tells Joshua is simply these words: "Joshua, be strong, be courageous." Yes, times were uncertain for Joshua. He literally was God's hand-picked, God's chosen one to lead now the nation of Israel. And Joshua had some mighty big shoes to fill. He had to fill the shoes of Moses, who had been the great leader for the nation of Israel for the last 40 years. Moses being the one who led the people of God out of bondage in Egypt, Moses being the one who led the people of God through what is called the wilderness wanderings. Moses, the one who now literally had taken the people of God to the brink of crossing into the promised land. He now had passed away, and Joshua had to be the leader. It takes courage. It's not easy to step out into an unknown future, stepping and going forward into an unknown land. But the Lord reminded Joshua, be strong and be courageous. Right now, we as a nation, we as a world are stepping into unknown territory with this time of sickness. It's scary hearing the reports. It's confusing and confounding for all of us. Yet the Lord is reminding us in this time, be strong and courageous. But there's a second thought that the Lord has there for his servant Joshua, and also for you and I this morning. And that is, be not afraid. When I think about the word fear, it takes me back to when I was pastoring over on the east coast of Florida. There every Tuesday, I would knock on the door of one of my members' house. For 2 years, that member would not come out of her house because she was living in fear. Fear is a terrible thing. It can literally trap us. It literally can be a personal prison. It would have been easy for Joshua to shrink from this assignment. It would have been easy for him to simply say, I'm not Moses. I'm not good enough. I don't have his faith. I don't have his talent. I can't go forward. But Joshua didn't do that. Joshua listened and paid heed to the instructions that the Lord had for him. Joshua is courageous, and Joshua did not let fear of the unknown, fear of replacing someone, he did not let any of that get in his way. He became the bold leader that literally led the people of God not only into the promised land, he was a leader who helped the people of God experience victory in the promised land. For some of us right now, we're tempted to quit and give up. For some of us right now, it's very easy to be bound up in our fear of the unknown and fear as to what the next week, the next month, what the next year of this life holds for us. Don't be bound up in that fear, but boldly go forth. Third thought that the Lord has for Joshua and for you and I this morning: be courageous, be not afraid, and remember, the Lord's presence is always with his servants. There's a beautiful scene in the end of the Old Testament book called Deuteronomy. There Moses is laying out his final speech. And in that speech, as the people of Israel are realizing that their great leader is not long for this life. Moses reminds them that, yes, Joshua is going to be your leader. And remember that you're going to go forth successfully. Remember that you're going to make it. And you're not only going to make it, you're going to thrive. And the reason you're going to make it, the reason you're going to thrive, is because the Lord has told me that my presence will never leave or forsake you. Remember in this time of isolation, remember in this time of feeling alone, remember in this time of feeling afraid or feeling frustrated, that the Lord never leaves or forsakes his servants. This isn't a sermon, it's just a thought. May all of us have a Jesus-filled and blessed Thursday. And remember always, Jesus loves you, and so do we at the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. Take care and be blessed on this Thursday.